Yes.
This is just 1.
Yes.
Yeah, 1/10.
Yes.
All right, so then let's do some bigger adding for 2nd grade. So make the number on your chart right now. Make the number 142. All right, so you would make the first number up top. Does yours have a line?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's why. So then if you have the ones that the school has, these are not the ones the school has obviously, but if you have the ones that the school has, there's a line like that goes right here, and that line is for you to make the 2nd number. So make the 2nd number underneath that. Don't combine them, but make the 2nd number underneath that, 136. All right, so if we're going to make that, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to combine your 1s. So you're going to take your 2 and your 6 and you're going to combine them so that they're organized so that you can see if you have a 10 easily. 2 and 6 makes 8. We do not need to regroup. Go to your 10s. Organize those or count them however you want to do it. How many do you have?
7.
7. 7. 7, and then what do you have?
2.
2. So then I think those things mine are laminated, but I think the ones that school have is laminated. And whenever I would let them write it on it with a marker, so they would see the answer is 278. All right, so let's say that you're going to use these for subtraction. Let's just make the number 65. How many 1s would you have?
5.
How many 10s would you have?
6.
6, good. 65. And from 65, we want to take away, let's do some regrouping. So let's say we want to take away 38. All right, so we're going to start in our 1s. You do not build the 2nd number for subtracting because you're taking away. So you're not going to have a bigger number, you're taking it away. So if you start in your 1s, how many 1s do you have?
5.
I want to take away 8. Can't do it. So what do I need to do?
Trade.
Good, trade. I trade. Now here's how trading works. I know you can't really see, but up in the top of the column, just like it would be on your algorithm, so on top of your place value mat, you would actually have them take the 10 that what Americans call borrow, but you never ever say that because you're not borrowing. You're not going to give it back. You're actually trading it. You still have it. Like you still have it. So what you take that, you put it up top because that's where it would go in the algorithm, right? And you actually have them line up 10 so that they can actually physically see. We still are having that 10. We are just trading it into 10 1s that we can now use. When they have it lined up, they take that 10 away. It goes down here. You organize it. Now, instead of 5 1s, I have, so what we just did in my math problem, we took 1 10 and we put it over in the 1s. And now we should have 15 1s, right? Mm-hmm. And now, can we take away 8?
Yes.
Yes. And what would be left? 7. And then we have 5 10s, take away 3 10s equals 2 10s. And that's how you would teach them how to add or subtract before they ever see this. They should not see this until they can do that. They can go through all the steps. They can see it on the board, but they should not have like a worksheet where here, add and subtract all these numbers until they can do that. If they are struggling with regrouping, like you know how when you have, I used to hate these. But when you have here, and you know how kids get lost in like, how do I do all that? And did I add the 9? Where do I put my 9? Where do I put my 10? If they're if they are struggling with this type of problem, it's because they need to go back to that. And they actually need to go, oh, I don't have any 10s. I don't have any 100s. I need to go here. And I'm going to take my 1,000, and they actually do make 1,000. And you take 1,000 and you trade it in for 10. And then you take that 10 and you trade one of those 10 in for 10 10s. And then you take one of those 10s and trade it in for 10 1s. And now I know why I do all of that. So if they're struggling with the algorithms, take them back to this place value maths. Any questions? Feel like you could go do that tomorrow if you haven't been doing it? Okay. All right, so put that over to the side, and now let's move to another game. You should have a place value board on your desk. Yes? You need your place value board, and just kidding. You need your whiteboard and your marker. If you want to put all that stuff back there, you can.
I'll come around and pick it up. How about that?
It doesn't have a nice neat bag because we use Kathy's stuff.
Oh.
And I just counted them all out. All right. This is a game you could use in K1 or 2. So, it's called Back to Back. I'm sure you probably have heard about it or seen it, but it is really fun. You have 2 people, they go back to back. They both have a whiteboard. They both write a number, so I'm going to be 2 people. I would write this and show this. This person writes this and shows this. The people in the crowd, y'all, you would tell me what the sum is. What's the sum?
8.
8. Well, I know I wrote a 3, so 8 take away 3 must be, and this person knows that he wrote a 5, so 8 take away 5 is
3.
And whoever says they're not, the other number person's the first, is the winner. With me?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. All right, who wants to go first? 2 people. Come on, come on, come on. 2 people.
I will.
Okay. Back to back.
We can write any number we want.
0 to 10. You gotta be back to back. Back to back. Yep, back to back. All right, show your boards. Everybody, what's the sum? 11.
4.
4. She got it. All right,
Oh.
you sit down. Next person. No, you stay up. Next person, who's going?
I go.
Okay, go to her. She's already up there waiting for you. Wait, no. You gotta be back to back.
Don't let her see it.
All right, show your boards. Everybody.
7.
5.
5. Got it. All right, next person. Who's going against her?
Yeah. I like this game.
All right, show your boards. Okay, everybody.
4.
6. She got you? Yep. Next person. We got 2 more than you go. Who's going?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Who's going?
That's me. Okay. That's what I'm listening today.
Go ahead. Everybody?
8.
5.
3.
She got you? All right, Donna, you gotta go. Donna, your turn. All right, stay board.
Well, you're going to have to help me just to start kids. So.
All right, everybody, what's the sum?
11.
7. All right, you get a prize. Very good.
You get a prize. You sound just like a kid.
I know. It's me. She's got barn animal. It's me. She's got barn
All right,
animal.
and you could do that. If you get through 4 people, you get a prize. If you get through whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyway, you can make that harder or easier, whichever way that you want to do. All right, let's go to model drawing. All right, so I need to figure out though why it went to this screen. Oh, here we are. Okay, there we are. Bar model. Bar model is actually just one strategy that Singapore teaches. A lot of people jumped on the bar model because word problems are really important and some students struggle with them. So let's just take bar model and put it on steroids, and every school in America uses it. Like, that's really what happened to bar model, because it was like supposed to answer it was supposed to help everybody who's always struggled with word problems. And it doesn't work that way, because it's just a strategy. It's just a strategy. You still have to know how to do the math, but it does help you understand the information. So what it does is it takes the abstract stuff, the words, and it changes it to a picture. Because remember, we usually do concrete, pictorial, abstract. Well, if you're at the abstract and you're having difficulty, you back up and go to the pictorial, right? And if you're having trouble with pictorial, what do?
You go back.
You go back to concrete. That's exactly right. Because you got to have one step before the other. So bar model takes the abstract and goes back to pictorial. But remember, it is just one strategy. If you already have those kids that know how to answer word problems, you don't have to make them do bar model. I know that there's been talk of other things, but in my opinion, the goal is to be able to do math in our heads, right? That's what math is about. So don't take them a step back. If they are able to do the algorithm, they're already at the abstract level. And if they can get the right answer, why take them back and make them do the pictorial stage? Again, that's up for debate, but that's how I feel.
But some people need the bar model in order to figure out
That's
what
exactly
they're
right.
doing,
Right.
like adding or subtracting.
Yes, those are the people that should always use bar model.
Right.
Because the hope is eventually that goes away and they're able to use the algorithm. There are 3 types. There are comparison, continuous, and part whole. K-1-2, you do part whole, like a whole lot, and you do continuous. You do comparison. Continuous comes at the end of 2nd grade. The only difference, I know it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like this is the comparison model. If Johnny has 5 cars, he's going to get 5 boxes in my bar. The continuous model says Johnny has 5 cars, and this is 5. So it's kind of that same understanding of this is 10, but so is this red dot right here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of that same. So that's why you stay here for kindergarten and first and most of 2nd, and then they start to actually add, okay, they can understand this is an abstract value. Even though there's not 5, it can mean 5. That's the only difference. And then part whole is exactly what it shows. Here's the whole. And we were talking in the others, kindergarten may have these. You should have some cards that look like this. You have flashcards like that? You have a set of those? That's a part whole card. So this is a bar model on a flashcard because it's showing you this is the whole and this is the part. These are the parts, which you're looking for this part, and this part is a little bit bigger than this part. And so what is the part that is missing? Like that is actually a bar model on a flashcard.
So then you could, if they didn't understand the flashcard, you could get out the unit fix, or not, whatever those things are called, and you could have them build it, and then they could see
Yes.
the difference.
Yes, if you had 10, here's the whole. You had 6. Actually, for this, I would use a 10 frame because they already have. Or your fingers. Yep, or your fingers. Absolutely. Yeah.
How many are down?
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Progression, because this is the part that you care about. You do bar models in kindergarten, but they're actually math stories and they're discussions. And you could actually, towards the end, my kindergartners had a marble notebook, and I would type out a word problem. We used Super Kids, and so my word problems had words that they could read from the curriculum. So it might say, Edabetta and Sal had 5 pens. So I would make sure it was words that they could read, and then we would use the bar model that way. I did not do that, of course, at the beginning of the year because that would have been crazy. But their math stories would look like, before that, it would be Jaden has 5 stuffed animals. So Jaden would actually have his 5 stuffed animals, and he would come up to the front. Mahalit has 3 stuffed animals. Mahalit would have her 3 stuffed animals. How many stuffed animals do they have all together? What would we need to do? That's a bar model, but you're acting it out, which is like the first step to understanding word problems. He has some, she has some. How much do they have all together? And then eventually, after you're good with that, which they should easily be okay with that, then you move it into the 10 frames. And you use it with the little erasers. Jaden has 6 stuffed animals. Then you'd have a second, whatever. Mahalit has 4. Here, Mahalit has these. How much do they have all together? 10. Again, you're just acting out that story. And then eventually, it becomes Jaden has, how many did he have? 6? 6. Now, it would be hard to draw stuffed animals, wouldn't you agree? So instead of drawing stuffed animals, we are going to draw these little boxes because these boxes represent the stuffed animals, and it's easier for me to draw stuffed boxes than this. And Mahalit had 3. How many did they have all together? I want to have the total. Of course, kindergartners can't draw that, so it could look like that. How many does Jaden have? 6. How many does Mahalit have? 3. See, it does not teach them the math. Like, they still have to add. But they could also count. Jaden has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 9. So that's what it looks like in kindergarten. So it's not like sophisticated and all that, but it still is the beginning. It's preparation for other grades. First grade, they do the same thing. Math stories. Oh, also kindergarten, have you noticed that they always do that literature? Like Bad Black Sheep, and that's because those are math stories. So when they do those, when they say use that literature, it's so that, not so you can read some poetry or nursery rhymes, it's so that you can talk about the math story that is happening there, the word problem that is in there. First grade, you use the same thing, math stories, and then you go number bonds, although you do number bonds in kindergarten as well. Comparison, and you start to try to transition into continuous at the end of first grade. They start to understand, oh, I can actually draw 5 little bitty squares, or I can just draw 1 big bar and do a value. This is 5. And then in second grade, they use all of them. And then they add in, like, it's legit adding and subtracting with double digits and triple digits. And then third grade, which you don't care about, but maybe one day you might. Third grade uses all of them plus multi-step. So that's why it's so important that they leave you knowing what to do, because if they don't know what to do, then they can't do the multi-step ones in third. Fourth grade uses all of them. Fifth grade, sixth grade, and they also add in fractions, decimals, percents, ratios, proportions, equations. All right, so let's do some. You should have another handout somewhere, and we won't get through all of these. It's just I always over-prepare than under-prepare. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, so your first one should look like this. Kate read 2 books. She also read 3 magazines. I learned from the first session I cannot write on that whiteboard. My handwriting looks like trash. And when I teach math, my handwriting is not very great anyway because I'm in such a passionate hurry. All right, so I would teach them Kate read 2 books. So the first thing, I know you got that step over there, and I know I'm contradicting a lot of stuff, but this is the way I think. Kate read 2 books. So what would you draw? Yep, and teach them to pick the first letter of the person's name because that's what you do when you get to algebra. You have a letter that stands for something. So Kate has 2. So we're going to do the that model because that's what you would usually use in your grades. She also read, so this is her books. So see how we're talking about the same person is doing more than 2 things. So she read 3 magazines. Are books the same as magazines? So I cannot add that to this one. I need a new one for her book, for her magazines. She read 3. How many books and magazines did she read all together? We're looking for the whole. You're going to have some that can do 2 plus 3, obviously, and then some that needs to count, and obviously the answer is 5. And again, you start with the easy one because you want them to feel successful. So you start with the easiest problem. When you're teaching something, you always start with something that they don't struggle with while you're teaching them how to do it. And I know we talked about in the first session whether or not you write a complete sentence or whatever, that's whatever y'all want to do. I say, this isn't English, but whatever. All right, same thing. Nicole had 3 stuffed animals in her toy chest. So, what would we draw?
Put it in.
Put it in.
And then, stuff, S with stuff.
Why?
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Because she has 5 stuffed animals in her bed, so.
It's the same person. So we wouldn't use the person. We would use the toy chest. So she's got how many? 3. And then she had 5 stuffed animals on her bed. I don't know why I'm putting equal signs. I've never done that before, but apparently I feel the need to now. How many stuffed animals does she have all together? But again, if you've got that student that says, oh, 3 plus 5 is 8, why make them do that? And as long as they can tell you that. Like, you know, they're just not like, oh, 8? Like, why? Always ask why. Why? How did you get that? Again, this is just about the process. How about this one? It snowed for 3 days. It snowed 6 inches on Tuesday, 8 on Wednesday, and 6 on Thursday. How many total inches of snow fell during the 3 days? I think we don't need to do that one because that's the same. I mean, bar model was really the same problem over and over and over. It's just different words. Because wouldn't you have Tuesday with 6, Wednesday with 8, Thursday with 6? I think that's what it says. Bracket, add them all together? Yes? All right, let's move on. Again, same problem. Jolene bought 9 pens, 3 pencils, 3 erasers, and a calculator for school. How many items did she purchase? What would you do?
Write a P for pen.
First, I would ask them if there's a number present that's not actually on there, because A actually stands for a number.
Right? What number is that?
1.
1. Okay. Then what would you do?
I would write the first, well, I would probably write pens and pencils down.
Okay.
Out, and then write the number, draw the number.
Draw the number.
apart.
Yep. 9.
Did the
Then 3.
bracket.
Then 3. Then bracket. Yep. And 1. And add them all together. Same problem. There were 3 second grade classrooms. Oh, I read that thing a million times and never saw that. There were 21 students in the first class, 23 in the second, and 22 in the third. How many second grade students were there at Dublin Elementary? What would you do? The same exact thing. The only thing that happened is the numbers got bigger. Now, would you actually draw 21 boxes?
No,
So yes, now you would actually draw a bar. So now we went to a different grade level. Because now you would have a bar. This bar is 21. This bar is 23. And this bar is 22. But still, it's the exact same problem. A pet store had 9 dogs. This is not the same problem, so let's do this one. A pet store had 9 dogs. Should we draw boxes, or are we good with drawing a bar? Doesn't matter to me. I can draw 9 boxes, or are we good with a bar?
Bar.
Bar? All right. So here's his 9 animals. What happened? Second sentence. Store sold 3 of them. So do we have them? No. So we do not need a second bar, because now we're doing something with this whole. We're taking away part. And how much is gone? 3. So that's what it looks like when it's subtraction. You cross off the part that they took away, that they ate, that they sold, that they stomped on, that they ran over, whatever happened to them. You put the X over it. How many dogs are left? Now here's where your question mark goes, because that's the part we're looking for. Again, they got to know 9 take away 3 is 6. But again, you got the kids. 9 minus 3 is 6, Miss Smith. Okay, great. Moving on. Maria had a collection of 56 stamps from around the world. If she gave away 14 stamps, how many does she have left? Same problem? Yes, same problem. Same thing. Just this is now 56. X out, this is 14, and then you just subtract. Phyllis has 6 more than Jane. Here's a new one. Phyllis has $6 more than Jane. Well, here's Jane. This is just from the first sentence. Here's what I know. There are 2 people, and they have some money, and Phyllis has $6 more than Jane, right? If Jane had $10, how much did they have all together?